I'm Stacey. Welcome to the kitchen of my old Kentucky home. Today we're going to be satisfying our sweet tooth with a dessert favorite of a Kentucky-born Hollywood star. We'll be making transparent pie and pairing it with Kentucky coffee. Let's get started. For our transparent pie, here's what we'll need. 2 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of butter, a 1/2 cup of cream, 2 teaspoons of flour, 4 eggs, and a pie crust. Transparent pie is a long-standing Kentucky dessert favorite that first started appearing in Kentucky newspapers as transparent pie around the 1890s. But it became world famous when Kentucky-born actor George Clooney started taking his co-stars to Maggie's Bakery in his hometown of Maysville and then shipping transparent pies from Maggie's all over the world to different sets. Now you might have even had transparent pie before, perhaps under another name. In other parts of the country, like Pennsylvania for example, it's called shoe-fly pie. I believe in Ohio it might be chess pie or sugar pie. But here in Kentucky it's called transparent pie, and it's not really for its transparency in color, but it's just simplicity of ingredients, because these ingredients were basically anything any respectable farm might have on hand. So just sugar, cream, eggs, and butter, and some flour. So it's really simple to make, and I'm going to show you how. First thing we're going to do is add our 2 cups of sugar. And then I have had this butter sitting out to get to room temperature so it's nice and soft. It's 3/4 of a cup. And then we're just going to cream this together. And as that's creaming together, I'm going to go in and break my eggs. Okay, now we're just going to put our eggs in, add our cream, and our 2 teaspoons of flour. All right, that looks nice and creamed together. Now you can do your own pie crust, which we've done in other episodes for other pies, but we made it a little simple today. Let's not tell Martha Stewart on ourselves. So we just have a pre-done Pillsbury pie crust. We don't need to, I've seen some recipes for transparent pie where you can pre-bake it a little bit with pie weights or foil and beans, but the recipe that I got from a really old Kentucky cookbook, it said not to do that, so we're gonna do it that way. Found another couple of recipes also that had some interesting ingredients, like a cup of wine, lemon juice, and then some jellies, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of the transparency in the transparent pie, but there you have it. This is already smelling good. Love the color of the butter gives it. Just kind of gonna spread it around, and we're just gonna put it in a 350-degree oven and bake it for 45 minutes. Now, while we wait for our pie to cook, let's go check in with Jessica as she makes us Kentucky coffees.
Since we're having dessert today, I'm going to make the Kentucky version of a classic after-dinner cocktail. So we're gonna do a Kentucky coffee instead of an Irish coffee. It's a real easy drink. All we need is brown sugar, freshly brewed hot coffee, bourbon, and heavy whipping cream. So this is kind of just like how you drink your coffee is kind of personal, how sweet you like it, how much cream. When you're making a Kentucky coffee, it's kind of the same thing, but I don't want mine to be very sweet, especially since we're having pie. So I'm gonna do about a teaspoon of this brown sugar right into the coffee, and since it's hot, it'll dissolve nicely, so I didn't feel like we needed to make a simple syrup. And then I'm gonna do about 1.5 ounces of bourbon. Do a little more or a little less, just depending on how strong you want it to be. And then with my heavy whipping cream, I'm gonna give it kind of a soft whip. I'm not gonna do it so it's like stiffly whipped cream like you'd have on your dessert, but I want it to be a little less liquid because we're gonna try to float it on top of the coffee here. So I've put my bowl in the freezer and I've had my cream pretty cold to hopefully make it a little easier to give it a bit of a whip. All right, I think that consistency is perfect. So what we're gonna do to try to get the slightly whipped cream to float on top of our coffee is you're gonna use the back side of a spoon And you want to put it up against the edge of the coffee mug and then to pour the cream over the back side of the spoon. And we'll see how well this works for us. All right, there we go. I'd say that's perfect. So that's all there is to it. You've got your Kentucky coffee.
So Jessica, you've had transparent pie before, right?
Yes, but not by that name.
Right.
Yeah.
So growing up, our Louisville family would call it chess pie.
Mm-hmm. That's
but
what we
we
did.
had a lot of family in northern Kentucky that did call it transparent pie.
Okay.
So I've always known it as each. I guess probably when I was little, I maybe thought they were different things, but
Right.
essentially
I
it's the
wasn't
same
sure
thing.
actually until you made this one today.
Right.
But, yeah, I did not know it was basically the same thing.
So the transparency is kind of a funny word because it's not really clear.
Right.
But some of the research I saw, it was because of simplicity. They said the simple ingredients that
Right.
you might
That
always.
kind of sounds like a very modern thing with
I
like
think
you're
so.
transparent about where the ingredients came from and clean food.
Well, that's
that
true.
kind of
It's
thing.
sustainable, all that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We have some friends that I said some of the other words are like shoe fly pie, sugar pie. We have some friends that call it a very sophisticated culinary term.
Okay.
Butter goo.
Butter goo?
Butter goo is what they call this. But whatever
I
you
mean,
call
I
it,
guess,
it's really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I can see why George likes it, right?
Absolutely, right. So, in George Clooney, is who you're talking about.
Right.
He's from Northern Kentucky. And was it like a family recipe or?
No, not at all. Just something he had growing up. They said his aunt, Rosemary Clooney, actually went to the same bakery that they did, McGee's, that's still there.
Oh, nice.
And she liked something else, like bakery squares or something, but he has loved this pie since he was a kid. So I actually did some research online and have seen interviews, like, dating back 15, 20 years, where he's taken his co-stars, like Alicia Silverstone from Batman, Renee Zellweger from Leatherheads, maybe.
Yeah.
Some other people, actually to McGee's.
Oh, that's fun.
And of course his current wife, Amal.
That's a
But
pretty
he-
lucky spokesperson to get.
Right? I know. And then he also calls in and has them shipped to sets. So
That's awesome.
He loves it. We think you should too.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And it's so easy to make.
Yeah, and goes great with a nice dessert coffee, which my mom will always be the person to tell you that after dinner drinks are dangerous, so keep them to a minimum because that's the point where your hangover is going to get bad. But luckily these aren't a lot of sugar, so that helps too.
And it was perfect balance to this because this is so sweet. You kind of didn't want too much
Yeah,
sweet.
that's why I didn't like sweeten the cream at all or anything like that. Just whipped my own instead of using like a can of whipped cream or something.
Well, cheers to you on doing it yet again, pairing a great bourbon cocktail with a Kentucky traditional recipe.
And kudos to you on the pie. And we will see you all next time on Bourbon
And biscuits.
Cheers.
Cheers.